Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming in Miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with my 15mm World War II project update. And it's been a while since I did an update, because if you come to my channel and you watch every Wednesday, I'm pretty much doing live updates on Wednesday during my Wargaming Wednesday show. But I want to discuss the rules of Battle Group, and I want to share my dilemma and my thought process a little bit, and then I want to continue that on Wednesday. So I feel like this is going to be a long video, but knowing that, I think I'm going to cut myself off and finish this conversation with you on Wednesday. That's just me thinking out loud. But there are a number of things that I have accomplished between our last update and this update, and that's what I want to update you guys with. Okay, first of all, I just finished these today, actually. I finished 2 Pack 40s with crew. And I'm going to tell you right now, doing these 2 figures is what sparked my dilemma. Okay, so we're going to move the angle of the camera. Bear with me. All right, so by doing these 2 models, it has made me reevaluate something about my basing theory and my basing process in the game. And Wednesday we're really gonna dig deep into my basing, not like decorating the base, but numbers of figures on the base. I was basically just running on autopilot and not really paying attention to the rules of the game, and now I'm looking back on it and I think I'm regretting it, but hopefully it can be corrected and we can fix it, and we can fix it together. Wednesday we're going to work on it, but I'm very proud of these. These are Battlefront Flames of War plastic Pack 40s, right? So these are plastic Pack 40s. Let's see if I can get a zoom. All right, so I think the basing turned out really well. I'm very happy with this edging color. I'm going to go back and re-edge all my guys with that color, which is, just so you know, it is this color. It is camo olive green. Not olive drab, not bright green, not dark green, not brown, not khaki, none of that junk. It's olive green, because olive drab is more of a brown, really, than a green. And that came out extremely dark, and that's what I like. I like to me, it kind of blends in with it makes the grass stand out more. It makes the figures stand out more. I know it's something subtle as basing, edging, that really made a difference. But these are 2 Pack 40s. They were plastic. They came out of the Hit the Beach box set. And these are the plastic, not the new plastic. This is the old plastic. This is, what do they call those plastics? Polystyrene plastic. Just like the gun. The new figures are in that flexible plastic. It's kind of like a resinish kind of mixture. It's ABS flexible plastic. But these guys are the regular plastic guys. I love the way this gun turned out. I'm very happy with it. Same with this one. But here's the clincher. This is what prompted this video and this whole dilemma. When I was basing these, I was following the Flames of War conventions of how to base them, which also was kind of like bolt action was coming into my thought process as well when I was basing these guys. There is a fourth crew member that is included in this box set. There are these two guns come with 4 crew members each, and I glued them down on the base, and I was like, that looks really cool, you know, that's outstanding, you know, am I using the right figures, and am I positioning them well, and basically a bunch of things like that was going through my mind. So I went to my battle group rule book and I looked for a pack 40 because I wanted to know, I wanted to know the details of the pack 40. I was excited, I was interested. And I noticed that the pack 40 in the battle group rules only has 3 crew members. So I went in and I tried, there's a crew member that would have been right there where that bush is. So I tried to pry him up and break him off or whatever, try to get him out so that I could save the miniature. And I was not able to do that because I used super glue when I glued him down. So I cut him off at the base, right? So now he's got feet, but no plastic base. Okay. So I cut them off and then I finished it up and painted them. So the 2 guys that were sitting off to the left in their little holes, I cut them off. Now, that's fine. There's no big deal. That doesn't really affect anything, except anti-tank guns, when they take casualties, you take casualties on the crew, right? The crew individually gets knocked out, or could individually get knocked out. So it made me think, what about my other weapons crews, or what about my other mortars, or my other teams and stuff? Did I just go through the motions and base them up and put them in on their bases based on a Flames of War concepts, thinking that it would all be good, right? And so I'm going to say 50-50. Some of it I did, but a lot of it I knew what I was doing. I even made conscious decisions to, like, if I had an 8-man squad, but it was supposed to be 5 men on rifles and then 3 men on a machine gun team, what I consciously did was made 2 4-man bases. But now I'm looking back on it thinking I probably should not have done that. I probably should have made a 5-man stand and a 3-man stand. My original figures that I did, that's the way I did it. But then I broke that concept and I said, okay, I'm going to do a 3-man team. But then part of my dilemma is, I think 5 men is too many. It's not, but I think it's pretty much too many on a Flames of War base. But I could easily put 3 men on a Flames of War base, 3 men on the machine gun, 3 men on the Flames of War base, and then a 2-figure command stand. Or depending, I'm going to go through my figures Wednesday. We're going to lay it out, and I'm going to try to do the math. But I think what I need to do is a 3-man machine gun team, and I could still leave the 4-man rifle squad, and then I would just take 1 figure as an individual leader and put it next to the rifle squad, and he could be individually based on a round base. I could do 3 and 2 just to make it easier to move around. And when I take casualties, or hold on, I could put the leader inside the 3-man base, and that way when they lose 2 guys, they could just take the 2-figure base off. That's not a leader, right? Because the leader is inside the 3-figure base. I also thought, because Flames of War does 3-figure bases, and they're the small bases with 3 figures, but I think that's awful cramped. I don't like that. It looks too like they're making their buddy smile kind of deal. So I think 2-figure bases, 3 or 4-figure bases is the way to go. 5-figure bases I think is just too much. Even though I do have some of my bases mounted like that, I'm going to have to go through my armies, mainly just the 2 armies that we're doing for the Lafayette Bridge. I'm going to go through those guys first and make sure I'm doing it the way I want it to be portrayed during the battle. I might have to do some rebasing, so we'll figure it out. Okay, so not only did I do these anti-tank guns, now you might see a pile of turrets down here. Okay, that's great. But these were the M4A3s, that's with the welded hull, and M4A1s with the cast hull. The M4A3s came out of a platoon box that I had. The M4A1s came out of the Hit the Beach set. So I decided just to go ahead and assemble them and paint them and do the entire group of them, because the scenario lists, I've gone through all the scenario lists, and there is a battle that needs 10 Shermans. Now I understand that this is more than 10 Shermans, right? This is, okay, let me get all the M4A3s up here just because I'm anal and I'm going to get it like that. Okay, not counting this guy. This guy here is a Zvezda M4A2. Weird, right? No, wait. That's not the Zvezda. This one's the Zvezda one. I didn't put any accessories on him. He's kind of bare bones, but he's the M4A2, right? Okay. There you are. Okay, so there's the 5 from that platoon that I created. Gave them all 75s, except for this guy. He's got the 105, right? Am I going to be using a 105? No. Am I going to be using the 76s? No. Okay, just throwing that out there. Just so let's see. Whoop, there's another 76. Let's see if we got 10 M4s, 75s. No. Okay, but that's not a problem, because I can take this 105, I can pull the turret like you should, and I've got another 75. I can just plop it on there. Or can I? There we go. Boom, 10. That's why I did all these extra turrets. There is a scenario where there are 12 British Shermans, and I decided instead of just getting a whole nother set of Shermans and painting them up like British, I said, screw it. I'll just proxy these American Shermans as British Shermans. And they are set up as 4, and here we go, 4 platoons. And I have 4 guys here with the exposed hatches, right? So they're the 4 platoon leaders. They each have a 75 with them, right? Okay, so far so good. But then they also have the Firefly with them, and that's where these guys come in, right? And I can pull this one. I could pull this one. There you go. I could even swap this one out because I got the hedgerow cutter. If I wanted to, I could pull that off and add this guy, and then keep the 2 hedgerow cutters out because it's not a Normandy battle. I think that battle where there's all those tanks, I think that's actually a Battle of the Bulge scenario, I think, but I could be wrong. But that's what I'm saying. I've got the 12 Shermans that I need. I don't need more than 12. And if I ever do decide to design a battle where I need more than 4 76s, I could just, or if I need more 75s, I've got 75 turrets right here. That's a 105, but I got a 75, there's another 75, and the rest of these are all 76s. So, and this is a 75, and that's a 75. So yeah, I can mix and match turrets. Okay, having said that, you'll notice that these turrets lay flat, right? They don't have the pin on the bottom. There is a possibility, because I'm going to experiment with these 2 turrets, actually maybe these 3 turrets. I'm going to experiment by putting a magnet in that little hole there. I'm going to put a magnet inside there, and then on the hull there's also a little hole. I'm going to put a magnet in there. So there will be a magnet in there, there will be a magnet in here, and I could just go click, and it would just click into place, and you won't have to worry about these pegs going down into the little holes. And if that works, that's the way I'm going to do it for all my tanks going forward. My Shermans, my Panthers, my Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, whatever, M10s, M36s, M18s, all that stuff, I'm going to go with magnets so that I could just plop turrets on without having to worry about fitting them into the hole. I've already ordered some rare earth magnets. I already own some rare earth magnets, and I might or might not have the right size. I think they're recommending a 5mm magnet for the hull, and I think I ordered 6mm magnets. When they come in, I'll see if they fit. It might be a tight, snug fit, and if it is, that's even better, because the recommendation was metric, and I have ordered some imperial. So we'll see if that works. Okay, so let's get these Shermans out of the way, and I think they turned out really well. I learned, there's something I learned, a couple of things I learned when painting these. There was I don't know if you can kind of see this in the lighting, but that tank is darker than that tank. And I would say half of them are this color, like this color, and half of them are like this color and this color. It's a little hard to tell. It's a very subtle change, but it's enough of a change that I decided that I want to do it this way. I like the lighter. It has a little bit more brown in it and a little less dark. I don't know. It makes the details stand out better, because when I went back, I sprayed them with testers and Vallejo, I think is how it worked. I think it was testers and Vallejo. I'm trying to remember. So what I did was, this is a little crazy, because I have so many more vehicles I need to do. I got some Jeeps, and I've got, like I said, the M18s, the M36s, the M10s, the Stewarts, the Haptracks. I've got a bunch of things that I still need to do. So I'm going to do another video coming up soon, which is going to have a bunch of olive drab spray paints, and I'm going to evaluate each one separately, probably on a Haptrack or a truck or something, so that I can kind of see what the quality is of each of those sprays. I got some Tamiya, I got some AK, I got some, I already have Vallejo and testers. I have some Hunter specialty coming in. I have There's another brand, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like an off brand. But I got them all coming in, and then I'm going to do an olive drab spray comparison. So that's something that's coming up. All right, so let's get rid of these. Oh, and these aren't base olive drab either. These are olive drab spray with a dark green wash, and the dark green wash was thinned out using some flow additive. So but it didn't clump up, it didn't dirty it up or anything. It just made it look good. I'm super happy with these Shermans. I don't know if you like them, but I really do. Okay, so then the next group. Okay, there's a lot on this table, and I'm not going to be able to go over it like all super quick. So I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way to make it look a little less cluttered so that you can see more of what's on the table. What I'm basically moving now are all those entrenchments that I was working on a couple of weeks back. I don't think I ever did any like reveals of what they looked like when they were finished. So that's what this video is going to also show you, what these looked like or how they look. I think they came out really good, but that's really not for me to say, right? All right, that's good enough. Okay, so included with these entrenchment pieces, I bought like 5 packs. I got 2 of the desert, 2 of the rural, and 1 of the gun positions. And those packs came with Boeta decided that they wanted to gift me with a reward, and they sent me these pallets. These are all wooden pallets with supplies on them, right? So you've got oil drums, ammo boxes, tarps. There's a few of them have bags. You know, these all look really good, and I could easily, and I probably will, put these on the table, not as a fuel area, not as a resupply point or anything like that, but just as a visual reminder of where the objectives are. So like on the Lafir Bridge, one of them is in the Lafir Farm, another one is in Kokigny, and then another one is in a road in the south of Kokigny that leads off the map. So there are like these 3 objectives, not 4, but 4 is a good number to have. There are these 3 objectives that the players will be vying over. And I'm just going to put these on the map so that it'll be basically a reminder to the players, hey, that's where the objectives are. So I really appreciated that. And because what I was going to have to do was either put a die down or put a token or put something on those locations just to let the players know where they were. But now I can do this, and it will be less obnoxious or less obtrusive on the table. Okay, a couple of weeks back, I went ahead and did some FO and spotter and radio Jeeps. I even scratch built a radio for this Jeep right here. This guy's got his binoculars in back here. This guy's got a machine gun on the top with this guy's got binoculars there. So technically, this Jeep is what you would call a recon scout Jeep with its 3 crew. And then these 2, one is, you can see 2 and 3 crew. One is the FO, and one, which might be this one. You can see they all have the guy with the binoculars. I think this is the FO Jeep. I even put a little accessory on the front of it. These guys are, the FO Jeep. And this one is the radio, what do they call it? A forward communication, FSU, right? Forward Support Unit or something like that. Basically, it allows you to re-roll your deviation dice or deviation distance or so. I don't remember, but when you're using your artillery spotters, because you have this on the table, they get advantages. And so that was pretty cool. And I did paint them up as glider troops for the 82nd. I mean, it's hard to tell. They, you know, American infantry and glider all look the same. Okay, and then I also painted this Panther tank, which I painted about a week ago or whatever, because I was going to use it in my boot camp videos, right? I was going to, for direct fire and armor penetration and stuff like that. This is a Zvezda model, and it's got some really good detail on it. I'm very happy with it, but I'm also, not only am I happy with it, I'm also disappointed with it. And why am I disappointed? Because the box art shows Zimmerit, and this is a smooth hull with no Zimmerit, which, whatever, no big deal. I'm happy with it, but, you know, I'm just disappointed that the box shows Zimmerit and this doesn't have Zimmerit. Okay, then these guys, I finished at the same time I did the Pack 40s, because I wanted a tank that had a fixed gun, not or what do they call it, a casemate gun, not a turret. And I had these, and I said, you know what, let's just pull them out and paint them. These are Old Glory metals, right? These are metal miniatures. They weigh like 15 pounds each. They're super heavy. And then I also had my Skytrex decals. We went ahead, I numbered them 111, 112, and 113. Yeah. And I decided to paint them using the Normandy paint scheme. Even if I'm not going to be using them in Normandy, I could be using them in Market Garden, or I could be using them in my Battle of the Bulge games. It doesn't matter. I'm focusing on painting everything sort of in the Normandy paint scheme. Now, if later on down the road I decide that I want to do something specifically for Market Garden or Battle of the Bulge, then maybe I'll try a different paint scheme. Or Germany even. What do you call it? Not Germany. Like if I do some Barbarossa or something like that, if I do some Russian stuff, which I will, because believe it or not, just a couple of days ago, I did order some Russian stuff. And that, just to be honest, is not for my 15mm project. It was going to be for my eBay store, because I was just going to paint up some Russians and put them out there. Okay, all right, so here are the three mortar positions. I think I showed them off. I showed the resin primed, maybe, not painted. I even tried 3 different washes. You can kind of see where this wash looks a little red, right? Maybe on the camera, I think you can see that it looks a little red. It's not really red. It is brown wash. I used a brown wash on this. And I now realize I do not like the brown wash. It makes it look brown, like, you know, it's supposed to. But these are actually Army Painter washes. I think one of them is a medium. No, wait, what do they call it? A soft. That's soft. Soft and not dark. What do they call it? Strong. Dark and strong. The strong looks pretty good. I like it, but I think the soft is subtle enough that it doesn't really take away from the model. Even though I'm going to say after the washes, I did go back over it and I did touch up the sandbags to kind of clean them up. So I think they look pretty good. I mean, these are, And a Flames of War base will fit either, well, 6 directions. I don't have one like easily hand. Yeah, this anti-tank gun is way too big, right? But if you could imagine, this is the same length of a this is the same length as an infantry squad or even a mortar squad. It fits in there just great. Okay, it does fit in there really well, and the depth is deep enough to get a full base in there. And you could also, if you have an anti-tank gun lengthwise, like a 57 or a 37 or something, you could actually put it in depth-wise. Yeah, so they fit in there really well. In addition to that, I did all of these, right? And so we got the wood, sandbags with wood in the front. I think that's actually a different one. That's wood with a box, and like a barrel, and this one has wood being braced up. This has got wood in a box with a barrel. So they're exactly the same. And then there's the wood with the braces. So these guys are exactly the same. And then like this one's a serious like heavy sandbag situation. Barrels, and then there's like this wooden panel on the back to hold the sandbags up. And that's a copy of that one. And then this one is a bunch of barrels laying down with sandbags on top of it. I like the way they put like a little firing gap right there for the sandbags. So if you put a figure down, and if the machine gun or whatever is on that side, that would be visually appealing. On this one, I put a little bush in front of that firing position, kind of like an idiot. Okay, no worries. This one is a bunch of barrels filled with rocks, so they all stand up. It's not a whole lot of sandbags. It's mostly just barrels. There's even a tire right there. I like that one. I like the variety. And this is a duplicate of that same one. And I remember I'm dropping little bushes in on these guys as well. And this is the one that I actually had 3 of, because I got 2 from the rural, or maybe it was desert, I don't remember, and then one of those was included with the mortar pits. Okay, and then I got this guy here, dirt all the way up. There's definitely a hole for a machine gun or something right there. That's really cool. And then there's this box filled with stones and a couple of barrels laying on their ground. Yeah, this one's probably one of my, I keep saying this, but I like them all. But I like that one as, I'm not going to call it my favorite, but it is definitely pretty cool. And then the rest of these are all for small bases. You get one per the medium set. This one has 2 barrels with some sandbags draped over it, and then on the other side there's like a box of rocks and a barrel laying on the ground. And then this would be the exact same. So those are the 2 that came out of that one, either desert or rural, I can't remember. And then this is the one that came out of the other set, either desert, rural, whatever that one's not in. Mostly sandbags, a couple of logs underneath there. This is almost all sandbags. And then this is the same one, but in the back you got boxes, right? And then this guy I've had for years, and I'm not exactly sure where I got it, but I basically just repainted it, or I should say I just touched it up. Yeah, so this is also a small base. So there should be enough entrenchments for any game that I do. Yeah, there should be enough. Yep, those are all the figures. Okay, so those are all the figures that I've done, and I haven't really touched up anything on the map recently. I do still need to do Lafir Farm for the battle. Once I do that farm, everything else is just touch up and detailing. So once I do the farm, the maps will basically be done, and then everything I do after that will just be to enhance it or to build it up or to make it look better. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about Battle Group, the rules. I want to change my camera so it's not like super close to this. Okay, give me a second. The rules, right? This Battle Group rules, remember, it's written as if you're playing with figures that are individually based. And just as a quick aside, we're going to get to, that's the summary, minis, getting started, scale, units. Okay, that's too many figures on too small of a table. Okay, hang on. Battle groups. Notes on infantry basing. Okay, here we go. How infantry are based doesn't really impact the game. Okay. I think that's a lie. Because it's just visually appealing to see troops the way they are and moving. If it takes you 15 minutes to move all your troops, then it's going to impact the game. Maybe not. It might not impact the dice rolls or the. My microphone is a million miles away. Okay, it might impact the dice rolls, but it's not going to impact. I mean, it will impact the mood of the game, in my opinion. Okay, it says as long as it's obvious which squad the models belong to, then any basing method will work. Individual basing obviously allows for easy removal of casualties, but multiple basing allows for faster movement and easy identification. Okay, if using multiple bases, and when they talk about multiple bases, they're talking about multiple figures mounted on a single base, like Flames of War, or Command Decision, or Battlefront. Battlefront is actually a name of a game. Okay. If using multiple bases, the best thing to do is to also have a few markers or small dice to show casualties. Right. And that's why I'm going to use my rings. I'm going to put those out there to sustain casualties. So a 5-man base would remain on the table until all 5 men have become casualties. But after 4 casualties, would only have a rate of fire of 1. Okay, we understand that. There's only 1 man there. He's got a rate of fire of 1. Duh. Okay. Additional bookkeeping won't affect the gameplay at all. So they're just saying by marking those figures that way, it shouldn't affect the game. Okay, so far I'm okay with this. And I'm totally cool with having a squad of 10 guys having multiple bases and marking individual casualties. No big deal. A combination of multiple bases and single figures is probably the best compromise. Okay, now I'm starting to think that as well, but maybe not. Individual models within a squad or team should remain within approximately 1 inch of each other to keep it obvious which squad or team they belong to. And I'm going to say 1 inch for a 15 millimeter miniature is way too big. they don't differentiate between 20 millimeter or 25 millimeter or 28 or 47 millimeter miniatures. They don't care how big your figure is. They just have to stay within 1 inch. I think that's too big when it comes to 15. What if I'm playing this game in 10 millimeter? They got to stay within 1 inch? No, that's like 2 miles apart. So, in my opinion, if I'm individually basing them, they need to stay within about 1/2 inch, if not touching. And on the multiple bases, I want them to touch, because 2 figure bases touching makes it obvious that that is a unit. When you got 2 bases out there side by side, it could be misinterpreted that those are 2 separate units, even if they are within 1 inch, right? So, and what does that tell the players that are playing, or your opponent? You can't get, I mean, I'm just reading between the lines, you can't get within 1 inch of another team because your opponent would think they're all the same team. So what I'm going to do, and this is the way I'm going to go forward with this, is, and this is a no-brainer, I mean, it's not going to affect anything. I'm going to make all the squads touch. So if 2 of the bases are from the same unit, or they receive the same orders, they have to touch. As soon as they become separated, then those are units that receive separate orders. It's just going to make it much easier for me. Okay, so that's that. Nowhere else in this rules does it really affect what I'm getting ready to go to. But as you probably know, I just started doing the battle group boot camps, and in the battle group boot camps, I am teaching the rules to anyone that wants to watch. So if you're watching the video, you learn the rules, you learn about shooting, you learn about movement, you learn about orders, all that stuff. But I want to admit that I've read the rules, but I haven't really fully grasped the rules. And now, by doing this boot camp, going through it methodically for my viewers, it's actually helping me. This is one of the reasons why I do the boot camp on all the rule sets that I play. It's because I want to basically learn the rules page by page, and when I read it out loud and I put figures on the table and I move them around and I can visualize what that rule actually means, that is a way that I learn the rules as well. So I guess I'm a visual learner, and so it's helping me learn the rules. And there is a specific rule that I just went over in one of my boot camps. It's shooting. It was part of the shooting that made me reevaluate. Well, let me back up. I didn't really concern myself with it. I was like, no big deal. But then when the anti-tank guns came into play and I realized I wasn't basing them properly and it was going to affect the way the game is played, I thought about it and I said, okay, let me go back and reevaluate how I've based my infantry and make sure it works with the rules. Okay, and the rule is teams, right? Because you got squads and teams and all that jazz. Okay, so let's talk about small arms fire. That's what I'm talking about. Right here on this observation table, right, which is a big deal when it comes to aimed fire. It doesn't even affect anything when it comes to suppressing fire. And so suppressing a team or whatever, it has the same effect if you're shooting at 100 guys or if you're shooting at one guy. It doesn't matter. Suppressing is done the same way. But aimed fire, it matters, because to be able to conduct aimed fire, you have to make an observation test. And what I've done is I've broken the rules. Because remember earlier in this video, I mentioned how if I had an 8-man team, I would put 4 of them on a base with the machine gun, and then 4 over here with the leader, and then you would have your 2 4-man bases, and everything would look symmetrical and everything would look great. So what I've done is I've penalized the machine guns, because this little line right here that you can't see says if the target is an infantry team of 3 men or less. And if I put a 4th guy in that team, then he's no longer a 3-man or less team. What that rule does, it makes it harder for you to observe 3 men or less. Now, while they're operating as a squad, like touched together, and they're functioning as a squad, it would have no effect on them, right? Until they take enough casualties where they're now down to only 3 men, it has no effect. There's no effect at all. But the way the army lists are set up is that you get 5 men and 3 men gun team. So the squad is actually 8 men, and at any time you can take those 3 guys and break them off as a separate unit, and they can receive orders separately from the squad. Now, a lot of players like myself, or maybe players at the game, will keep them together and it'll operate, you know, with no effect at all. But a lot of players like myself, I thought about this, especially on defense, would want to have those 3-man teams separated, or maybe even on the offense, maybe a heavy machine gun team or mortars or whatever else is possibly 3 men. You'd want to break them off so that they could provide covering fire while your infantry, which is now 5 men, not 4, the 5 could move up and advance, and you could even do a leapfrog or whatever. But by putting the 3 with the machine gun, which probably has a much further range, right? If I put that 4th guy in that squad, I am penalizing them or penalizing the entire squad, not just that one base. I'm taking a man away from the assault team, and I'm putting it in the machine gun team. And if the range is farther than a rifle, I've basically eliminated this guy from the equation, right? So, and well, you're always going to have that 3rd guy that's going to be eliminated anyway, but now I've eliminated him from the assault and the machine gun. So what I'm saying is, let me pull my army list out, and I'm going to go through my miniatures on Wednesday, and we're going to take a look to see if this impacts me. It might not. I might just be stressing over nothing. I might already have 3-man machine gun teams. But, I mean, I don't remember. Let's not talk about the British. They're not in this fight. American Airborne Division Battle Group. This unit is in the Lafier Bridge. Either paratroopers or glider troops. Okay, and then we got paratroopers here. We got glider troops here. There's 2 paratrooper squads that are there. So if I look at a paratrooper squad, I'm seeing I have unit composition 9 men plus a machine gun of 3 men. So what I think I did was, and I'm starting to regret this right now, I think what I did was I think I broke one of these down into a 3. Wait, 1, 2 for command, right? And then a 4. Wait, that's 4 for a 4-man squad. And then 3 more would be 9. See, I think I did that. I think I went crazy. I think I had a 2-man leadership team, which you don't need that. It's not even part of the equation. It's just that the way I wanted to do the bases. So you got 2, and then luckily I think I did a 3-man machine gun team, plus the 2-man command. And that leaves 7 more guys. I think I did a 4 and a 3. So I really fucked it up. 3 men with a mortar, I think I did it that way. 2 men with bazooka, I definitely did it that way. But the infantry squad, I've got a 2, a 4, and a 3, which that will work perfectly as long as the machine gun team is still only 3 guys. If I made the machine gun team 4 guys, which I don't think I did because it didn't equate out to the right numbers, it'll be fine. That'll be fine. Wednesday we'll figure it out. The glider team, though, on the other hand, is a 6-man squad and a 4-man BAR. So I think I might be good on that as well, because I did 4 with the BAR, I did 4 with the rifles, and then a 2-man leadership. I think my glider platoons will be okay too. Yes. Okay. So then the grenadiers, which I think I used the grenadiers from the Beyond the Beaches book and not this book, but we're going to take a look. Because I need a Luftwaffe, not a Panzer Division. It's Beyond the Beaches. Or an index. Army lists. German Army and Norman T. Infantry Division 94. Here we go. German Infantry Division, also Luftwaffe. Okay, so here we go. Grenadier Platoon. Yep. Okay, Grenadier Platoon. This is the one I'm afraid of. This is the one I'm afraid of. Because it says 3-man machine gun team and a 5-man squad, right? 3 squads, 3 teams. So yeah, I think I took a guy out of that squad and put it in the machine gun team. Made a 8-man team with 2 4s, and I think I broke my grenadiers. Everything else is perfectly fine because it's either 2Zs or 3Zs. Like the medium mortars are 3 men. That's fine. I don't have any heavy machine guns or anything. But like anti-tank gun. Unit comprised of the gun with 3 crew. Upgrade to what type of gun, right? Yeah, so mess that up. But now I fixed it with these bases. So these guys are good. I caught that in time. I think my grenadiers I'm gonna have to rebase. But that's part of the discussion we're gonna have on Wednesday. So come check that out. You're updated on all the figures I just recently painted. A lot of those figures I just painted don't have anything to do with the scenario that we're getting ready to run, but it's still part of my overall World War II project, because I am planning on doing battles from Market Garden, Battle of the Bulge, all the D&D, all the D-Day, and even Beyond the Beaches. I plan to do all those scenarios at some point, so I'm trying to develop all the scenarios. Now, I thought about this as well. There's a final point. When I made all those Shermans, I probably know that I don't need all of them. There's a couple of them I probably won't ever use, so I might put them up for sale. Same thing with the martyrs, right? I don't know if I need 3 martyrs. I think I only need 2 martyrs, so I might put one of them up for sale. One cool thing about Battle Group is you're not always fielding your units at full strength. You can field units as onesies and twosies. It's designed as a man-to-man game and not a platoon or battalion level game. Even though you can play a game with a battalion on the table, it's not. When you design, if you design your own armies, you can buy like just 1 martyr or just 1 panther or whatever. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you Wednesday. All right, have a good one.